Chapter 401 Free Dragon Origin Grass, a Special Living Being. At this moment, Li Qingyuan felt only fear, no joy. His scalp tingled and his hair stood on end, as if a mortal had encountered a ghost. The Earth Marsh Sword Array protected him on all sides, its barrier shielding his body, yet he still felt unsafe. He also activated the Water Origin Talisman Array technique he had obtained from Shui Lingzi. However, a full quarter-hour passed, then two, yet everything around him remained calm. There was not the slightest disturbance. Li Qingyuan stared fixedly at the myriad medicine divine mountain, sometimes glancing at its peak, sometimes at the Dragon Origin Grass. The Dragon Origin Grass couldn't have broken free from its restrictions and left the Divine Mountain for no reason, he muttered. Within this Divine Mountain, within this immortal estate, there must be some unknown living being. For some reason, Li Qingyuan suddenly thought of Zhao Guangjing. That old fellow had nearly wiped out all the prodigies of the 7 kingdoms of Huang province back then, and Li Qingyuan himself had almost died. At this thought, his scalp went numb again. Could this be the same situation? Last time he had survived because the Xuanpin space had automatically devoured the Shirang to evolve itself. The Shirang had long since become Zhao Guangjing's alternate physical body, so it could subdue him. But would he be this fortunate again? Damn it! Li Qingyuan felt the urge to flee. He began backing away slowly. Deep within the immortal estate, a little girl with a delicate, jade-like appearance, fair-skinned, with a pair of goat horn braids and large, bright, jet-black eyes, widened her eyes in surprise. "This brat is actually this afraid of death," the little girl pouted. If it weren't for Mistress's instructions to find an heir for her old friend, a mere core formation cultivator wouldn't even be worth my notice. But Mistress did say to find a seedling who cultivates both body and ki. Since you showed insight by comprehending the sword inheritance that little Kun left behind at the core formation stage, and even managing to execute it, I took a liking to you and bestowed a precious medicine upon you. Forget it, if you don't want it. As for little Kun, that was naturally Di Kunzi, the master of the Earth Marsh Sword Array, the foremost of the 5 great generals under the Divine General. Outside, the Dragon Origin Grass slowly flew back. Li Qingyuan watched it retreat, his expression conflicted. He wanted it badly, yet he feared the living being hidden in the shadows. Since it's come to me, it might as well stay. Li Qingyuan shot forward in a flash, snatched the grass, and stored it away in an instant. He had made up his mind. The human king had been here, but even he seemed not to have detected any living being in the shadows. It might be that this being was more powerful than the human king, making it imperceptible to him. But if it were stronger than the human king, that would mean it was above the divine transformation stage. Yet the 9 provinces continent was flawed and incomplete, its laws deficient. Anything above divine transformation, precious medicines, spirit plants, 5th grade spirit veins, would all return to the cycle of heaven and earth as nourishment. This being, then, should not be stronger than the human king. But if even the human king couldn't sense it, then this living being must be of a special type. And special type beings, could they have survived from ancient times, tens of thousands or even 100,000 years ago? Even long-lived demon beasts couldn't manage that. Could it be? Li Qingyuan had a vague guess forming in his mind. If his guess was correct, then this special being probably wouldn't harm him and might even find it difficult to do so. If his guess was wrong and the being wanted to kill him, then all of them, several thousand people, would die, every last one. The little girl nodded upon seeing this. Afraid of death, yes, but also decisive, worthy of a trial or two. I hope your performance in the 5 Fiends secret realm will be satisfactory. Boy, I've waited tens of thousands of years. I don't want to wait any longer. How boring! Having obtained the Dragon Origin Grass, Li Qingyuan turned his attention to the 4th grade spirit plants and issued another challenge. When it came to 4th grade spirit plants, the talisman puppets were of the same cultivation level and had equal foundations. Li Qingyuan had already challenged the talisman puppet, using every trick he had. Almost all his killing moves had been copied by the talisman puppet, and his heart demon pupils were useless against it. So, after more than a dozen attempts, exhausting his mental energy in calculations and fighting with all his strength, he had won only once, harvesting a single 4th grade spirit plant. He had to give up on the 4th grade plants for now. As for the powerful killing moves that combined the Xuantian secret arts, he couldn't activate them here because there was no earthly fire. Next, Li Qingyuan moved down to challenge the third-grade spirit plants. These were all ordinary late core formation talisman puppets, their combat power ordinary for their stage. Even though the spells programmed into them were quite powerful, they were only comparable to the combat power of late core formation prodigies. Li Qingyuan struck and won consecutively. After the various factions had challenged and harvested the third-grade spirit plants, over 100 still remained. Li Qingyuan spent half a month challenging them and taking them all. Before anyone knew it, more than a month had passed. On the Myriad Medicine Divine Mountain, aside from the remaining 11 fourth-grade spirit plants, he had taken every precious medicine, over 100 third-grade plants and all the second-grade plants. He had practically stripped the mountain bare. Li Qingyuan used a sound transmission jade token to summon everyone. Soon, Zhao Guanzheng was the first to return. Seeing the divine mountain almost completely stripped, the primordial spirit body of old Zhao stood frozen in shock. This, Li Qingyuan asked. Old Zhao, have all the remnants of the five elements gate been eliminated? Zhao Guanzheng replied. Reporting to Master, 90% have been cleared. There are still a few dozen stragglers hiding very deep, but give me another 10 days and I'll find them all. The Void Refinement Grotto. Heaven was vast, immense, in fact comparable to any of the great provinces of the 9 provinces continent outside the divine continent itself. Forget it, Li Qingyuan said. Leave some men to continue the pursuit. The rest of you, come with me to the Immortal Estate's secret realm. Zhao Guanzheng suddenly spoke up. They're coming. He slipped into the Xuanpin space, and sure enough, 10 breaths later, streaks of light flew toward them. Zhao Ju, Yu Shaoer, and Tan Yuyi, cultivators at late core formation, flew in, clasped their fists, and bowed. Greetings, fellow Taoist Qingyuan, Li Qingyuan said. Fellow Taoists, we can't delay any longer. Let's head to the Immortal Estate's secret realm. At that moment, Zhao Tongshuan stepped forward and said, Senior brother Qingyuan, while we were pursuing the remnants of the Five Elements Gate, we learned from early core formation cultivators of other factions that the place ahead is called the Five Fiends Secret Realm. This first secret realm alone has already forced almost all early core formation cultivators to retreat in defeat. More than 100 early core formation prodigies have already fallen there, Zhao Dai said. In that case, I am willing to lead the early core formation cultivators to stay here and continue pursuing the few remaining remnants of the Five Elements Gate. Xia Yuanji, Sun He, and Qi Yuxuan also spoke up. Our strength is limited, so we'll remain outside to pursue the Five Elements Gate remnants, hunt demon beasts, and gather spirit plants. Li Qingyuan said, Very well. Then late core formation, mid-core formation, and any early core formation cultivators willing to take the risk, follow me to the Immortal Estate's secret realm. As he spoke, Li Qingyuan waved his hand and stored his spirit pets, Ji Kun and the flame dragon lizard, into his spatial ring. Shui Lingzi and Shui Ying, one at core formation peak, the other at mid-core formation, followed at Li Qingyuan's side. Everyone activated their core formation magical power, soaring through the sky as they sped toward the Immortal Estate's secret realm. Zhao Ju, Yu Shaoer, and Tan Yuyi were all at late core formation. Including Shui Ying, there were 11 mid-core formation cultivators in total. Li Qingyuan was at late core formation, while Zhen Xing was at true core formation peak. The two were the fastest and took the lead. Zhao Chong and Zhao Tongshuan, both at late core formation, were unwilling to stop here. They wanted to give it their all. Even if they couldn't pass the secret realm, they could at least temper themselves. Soon, they reached the Heavenly Connection Bridge. More than a dozen people flew across the bridge and entered the first secret realm, the Yin Fire Realm. Whoosh, 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 blazing flames, earthbane yin fire, drilled into their Yongquan acupoints, flowing upward along their meridians, stirring the yin fire within their bodies and specifically burning their 5 viscera and 6 bowels. In an instant, everyone's expressions changed. They immediately activated their magical power to protect their bodies and shield their internal organs. Zhao Chong and Zhao Tongshuan pressed forward, but after walking only about 10 jung, their faces flushed red and blood trickled from the corners of their mouths. They sighed helplessly. Alas! Limited strength, we have to accept our fate. Zhao Tongshuan clasped his hands. Senior brother Qingyuan, we'll wait for you outside. Zhao Chong said. Senior brother Zhao Ju, fellow Taoist Qingyuan, and all fellow Taoists, may you return with abundant rewards. The two withdrew, and the rest continued. Li Qingyuan strode forward, allowing the earth vein yin fire to burn through his meridians and drill into his 5 viscera and 6 bowels. He activated his wind thunder invincible body, using the fire to temper his body and hone his flesh. Though he walked with difficulty, a hint of joy rose in his heart. This is a dangerous ground, but also a blessed one. This earth vein yin fire can help me temper my physical body. After 30 years in seclusion, eating his fill of third-grade pills, his magical power had reached late core formation, and his physical body realm had naturally improved as well, reaching mid-core formation perfection. His physical body realm needed to be polished and tempered to advance further. Thank you to some fellow Taoists for your concern. At the last checkup, my child's abnormal brainwave patterns had noticeably decreased. The overall trend is benign, and the condition isn't serious. I just need to take care of daily precautions. Thank you for your blessings. Here's an extra chapter. Also, as thanks for your support. HTCCW2, Chapter 4, 02, Yin Fire, Fierce Wind, Heavenly Thunder, Tempering the Physical Body. The Yin Fire secret realm was a world unto itself, extremely vast, with parched earth and flowing sand everywhere. The ground was pitted with holes, and from each hole, clusters of earth vein yin fire blazed up, invading through the Yongquan acupoints at the soles of Li Qingyuan's feet, burning through his meridians and incinerating his 5 viscera and 6 bowels. Li Qingyuan silently activated the Mu Heavenly Tree technique, using the seed of longevity as nourishment to guide the yin fire within his body. His wind thunder invincible body spun into motion, and his physical body endured the pain of being burned. He let out a muffled groan. Blood seeped from the corners of his mouth, from his nostrils, from his ears. Yet he continued to bear the fiery torment, step by step, moving forward. Zhao Zhu, Yu Shaoer, and the others exchanged glances, their expressions filled with shock. To pass through this yin fire secret realm, we need to activate our protective artifacts and use all our magical power to block the yin fire rising from our Yongquan acupoints and seal it out. Zhao Zhui, Yu Shaoer, and Tan Yueyi all activated their protective artifacts, circulating the golden core in their dantians to channel magical power against the yin fire as they carefully made their way through the secret realm. Tan Yueyi praised, "What an impressive physical body, what remarkable endurance. No wonder fellow Taoist Qingyuan can kill late core formation prodigies like Tao Yifei and Tie Wuya with such ease." Yu Shaoer sighed helplessly. "Though we're both at late core formation, I'm not his match." Zhao Zhui nodded in agreement. "Looking at fellow Taoist Qingyuan, I always feel as if I'm facing the little 5 elements king or Wang Fugi, like an unshakable mountain." Zhen Xing was secretly astonished. "With my nascent soul divine sense and peak core formation magical power, even I find it difficult to traverse this yin fire secret realm. And this kid actually plans to endure it with his physical body." Xue Ying followed closely, step by step. The group continued on foot. The farther Li Qingyuan walked, the more surprised he became. "I keep feeling as if something within the yin fire is constantly imprinting itself on my body. This feeling is growing clearer. Is it good or bad? But my physical body is becoming more and more condensed. My physical golden core is drawing in the earth vein, yin fire to temper itself, and the qi and blood of my 5 viscera are growing stronger and more solid." A month later, more than a dozen people finally reached the entrance to the second secret realm. Li Qingyuan had spent an entire month using the earth vein yin fire to temper his physical golden core. During this time, his qi and blood had been consumed quickly, requiring him to replenish with large amounts of resources that nourished qi and blood and enhanced his cultivation. Second-grade superior dragon tiger pills, second-grade superior dragon bone meridian pills, third-grade true person pills, 10,000 true pills, third-grade blood-nourishing spirit plants. After intercepting the 5 elements gate and stripping the divine mountain, he had no shortage of third-grade pills and spirit plants. As he walked, he consumed pills. His physical body, at the perfection stage of mid-core formation, grew more condensed, his qi and blood more refined. His golden core expanded to its limit, and a bottleneck in his cultivation arrived. The entrance to the second secret realm is here. Zhao Zhu looked at a stone tablet and said, "The fierce wind realm," Yu Shaoer said. "The first secret realm was yin fire, which specifically attacks the Yongquan acupoint. As for this fierce wind, I've never heard of it before. Everyone, be careful. The group grew vigilant. They consumed pills to maintain their magical power, activated their life-bound magic treasures for protection, and stepped into the second secret realm. Li Qingyuan entered the fierce wind realm. The moment he did, gales surged from the sky. The fierce wind blew in, invading through the crown of his head and drilling into his Xuanlu acupoint. He shuddered instantly. His qi and blood power intertwined with the fierce wind, and he still chose to endure its invasion with his physical body, allowing his flesh, blood, and sinews to be tempered. But the fierce wind was extremely strange, gentle, yet also extremely domineering. Li Qingyuan spat blood. He consumed pills to maintain the operation of his wind-thunder invincible body. The seed of longevity emitted strands of life force, warming his physique and helping his body recover as he continued to endure the fierce wind's grinding. He released his magical power, letting his physical body be tempered. Though his face showed pain, his steps remained firm. My heart is like iron, unbreakable. What could a mere fierce wind do to him? Within the Xuanpin space, Zhao Guangzheng, Ji Kun, and the Flame Dragon Lizard were forging a magical artifact, a special one. Ji Kun's life-bound magic treasure. The Flame Dragon Lizard spewed a continuous stream of flames. The intense flames burned 5 3-inch golden cores, the cores of 5 late core formation prodigies, including Hua Lingzi, Mu Lingzi, Tie Wuya, and Cao Yifei, who had cultivated for nearly 100 years. After a month of burning, the 5 golden cores began to dissolve, becoming 5 pools of liquid in 5 different colors, corresponding to the 5 elements. Zhao Guangzheng said, "Ji Kun, that's enough." Ji Kun nodded. It flapped its wings, and the eggshell from which it had hatched flew out. Even though it had been shattered long ago when Ji Kun used a bloodline secret technique to withstand Zhao Guangzheng's killing formation, it was still the egg of the ancient demon beast, the heaven-swallowing chicken. Zhao Guangzheng praised, as expected of one of the 3 great ancient flying beasts, the heaven-swallowing chicken, capable of standing alongside the legendary 3-legged golden crow and the golden winged roc. Just the runes on this eggshell alone can block the divine sense of cultivators below the nascent soul stage. Only a primordial spirit can comprehend even a fraction of it. Ji Kun spat out Danfire, multicolored Danfire. A drop of its lifeblood essence flew from its comb, merging into the eggshell fragments. Only then did the fragments begin to be refined by its magical power. Zhao Guangzheng said, "If it weren't for Ji Kun using its lifeblood essence as a guide, and since this is its own eggshell, sharing the same origin as its magical power, even an ordinary nascent soul cultivator would find it difficult to refine this eggshell." Piece by piece the eggshell began to dissolve. The process was slow, but it was indeed dissolving. The Flame Dragon Lizard let out a low roar. After consuming 10,000-year spirit milk, it recovered its magical power and continued spewing flames to assist Ji Kun in refining the eggshell fragments and the multicolored liquid from the golden cores. Time passed. Another month went by in the blink of an eye. Ha! Li Qingyuan let out a long breath of turbid qi. His spirit was weary. The entrance to the 3rd secret realm. Finally. At this moment, aside from Zhen Xing, Zhao Ju, Yu Xiaoer, and Tan Yuyi, all the mid-core formation cultivators had collapsed from exhaustion. Fellow Taoist Qingyuan, go on ahead. We'll meditate and recover for a few days, then catch up. Li Qingyuan nodded. Good, rest a while, we'll scout the path for you. He took a step forward, crossing the barrier between the 2nd and 3rd secret realms. His vision brightened, and his ears were assaulted by a deafening roar, a flash of lightning, a clap of thunder. A thunderous boom echoed as a bolt of lightning struck Li Qingyuan instantly. Crackling thunder overwhelmed him, a high-voltage current that made him cough up blood. His entire body went numb, bones, blood, and sinews. His meridians were paralyzed, unable to muster any strength. Within his golden core, the seed of longevity automatically protected its master, absorbing the thunder's power and commanding it to circulate through his body. The violent thunder was also a wood attribute energy, which the seed of longevity could pacify, turning its destructive force into nourishment. Li Qingyuan sucked in a sharp breath of cold air and took another step forward. Boom! 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 With every step he took, a bolt of thunder struck down, hitting the crown of his head and spreading through his entire body. The seed of longevity softened the thunder's power, turning it to his own use. His wind thunder invincible body drew in the thunder to temper his body and strengthen his flesh. A hum sounded. On the surface of Li Qingyuan's body, 6 wind god patterns appeared, along with 4 thunder god patterns. A 5th thunder god pattern was beginning to coalesce. Faint runes were being born, growing more and more condensed. Li Qingyuan's physical body was undergoing a transformation, breaking through its shackles. Once he broke through those shackles and condensed the 5th thunder god pattern, his golden core would shatter its shell and transform, reaching late core formation. Meanwhile, Zhao Jue, Yu Shaoer, and Tan Yueyi were struggling greatly, their pace slowing more and more. Yu Shaoer said, "I felt the terrifying pressure of a nascent soul tribulation lightning descending. Even if the thunder here is only 1% of that, it's still enough to severely wound a mid-core formation cultivator." Tan Yueyi took a deep breath. "I wonder if I can make it through this secret realm." Only Zhen Xing was relatively relaxed. Though it was difficult, he still had strength to spare. Zhao Ju said, "There's someone ahead." The group looked. There were indeed people, and also corpses. The corpses belonged to various factions, mostly mid-core formation prodigies. The living were resisting the thunder, moving forward slowly. Most of them were from the 5 Elements Gate. Someone noticed the commotion and turned to look. It was a woman. She exclaimed in surprise, "It's him! It's Li Qingyuan! The Crown Prince has issued a full-scale bounty, ordering us to kill him." Li Qingyuan looked up. He walked forward, bathed in thunder, and the corner of his mouth curled slightly. "And who do we have here?" Xia Ying, the great-granddaughter of that old woman Xia Shi, a prodigy of the Jin Kingdom. Xia Ying shouted in anger, "Shut up! How dare you disrespect my ancestor?" She was furious. With a flick of her long whip, she revealed her late core formation cultivation. In the 2 years she had been in the secret realm, she had become one of the few prodigies to break through to late core formation. It seemed she had gained a lot of opportunities during those 2 years, or perhaps she had originally been not far behind Zhao Ju and Ta Wuya, only needing 2 or 3 more years to break through. At that moment, someone flew out from behind Li Qingyuan. Zhen Xing's figure flickered, blocking the way. He reached out and grabbed the whip, and with his peak core formation cultivation, he was more than a match. He firmly controlled the whip and let out a contemptuous laugh. "It's you, senior brother Xueling," Xia Ying exclaimed in surprise. "Why are you with this villain?" Zhen Xing grinned. "Master, what would you like to do?" Li Qingyuan drew thunder to temper his body, continuously condensing the 5th thunder god pattern. He said calmly, "Kill them all. They're in the way." "Yes, master." Zhen Xing nodded and charged forward. Chapter 403, Physical Breakthrough, Late Golden Core. Zhen Xing activated the water spirit shield, causing it to expand until it was like a massive wall that smashed outward. With his peak golden core cultivation unleashed, he could not only withstand the thunder, but also strike with force, charging towards Xia Ying. Xia Ying's face drained of color. "Your cultivation has reached peak golden core. How is that possible? Shui Lingzi, do you know the consequences of betraying the little 5 Elements King?" "Enough noise." Zhen Xing struck out, his surging magical power rivaling the strongest of the golden core stage, no weaker than Wang Fugui or the little 5 Elements King himself. After all, he had once been a true lord of the nascent soul stage. Xia Ying swung her long whip, her life-bound magic treasure transforming into something like a flood dragon or python. Countless after-images filled the air as her magical power surged, and she shouted, "All of you, come help me now." Around her stood over a dozen late golden core cultivators, but they were already exhausted from resisting the heavenly thunder's power and had no strength left to act. With a single strike, Zhen Xing shattered Xia Ying's magical treasure technique and sent her flying backward. Xia Ying tumbled through the air, spitting blood. The overwhelming magical power hammered down upon her, causing her delicate body to tremble as she cried out in agony. With a tearing sound, Zhen Xing summoned a flying sword. The blade's light pierced through Xia Ying's brow, killing her with a single blow. Zhen Xing collected her life-bound magic treasure and the storage ring from her hand, then presented them respectfully. "Master." Li Qingyuan nodded and accepted Xia Ying's magic treasure and storage ring. Xia Ying had been a golden core prodigy from the only first-rate nascent soul sect in Jin Kingdom, one of the 7 kingdoms of Huang Province. She ranked 3rd among the prodigies of Huang Province's 7 kingdoms, second only to Zhao Zhui and Tie Wuya. She had indeed done well for herself. After 2 years of training in the Grotto Heaven, she had advanced to late Golden Core. Her storage ring was sure to contain many good things, no less than what Cao Yifei and Tie Wuya had. Zhen Xing then turned to look at the remaining dozen or so cultivators. A grin spreading across his face, he chuckled. Kill. Zhen Xing channeled his vast magical power, using his nascent soul divine sense to protect his body. Even while bearing the weight of thunder, he still had strength to spare for attacks. With each strike, he killed another mid-Golden Core cultivator, claiming their storage rings and magic treasures. After killing the dozen or so, Zhen Xing presented all the storage rings and magic treasures. Li Qingyuan accepted them all without hesitation. Continue forward. The group of over a dozen people trudged onward, tempering their bodies with thunder, each step a struggle. Several days later, Li Qingyuan, Zhen Xing and Blood Shadow had shaken off Zhao Ju, Yu Shao'er, and Tan Yuyi. Blood Shadow, return! Li Qingyuan recalled his Blood Shadow clone into the Xuanpin space. Various 3rd-grade superior talisman papers flew out, along with 5 types of 5 elements, talisman runes, water ice, flood dragon, breaking spirit talisman, metal heavenly, Qian, metal thorn talisman, fire, Yuan blade, haze talisman, wood, 1,000, leaves soaring dragon talisman, earth, shaking mountain, collapsing talisman. Among these, the water, metal, and fire attribute talismans came from Sister Miaoli's 3rd-grade superior talisman inheritance. The 1,000 leaves soaring dragon talisman came from insights gained during talisman inheritance study and meditation on Talisman Mountain, the earth, shaking mountain. Collapsing Talisman was one of the 3rd-grade runes from the ancient Talisman Inheritance Jade Slip, an Earth attribute attack-type rune that reached 3rd-grade superior quality. Li Qingyuan instructed, Blood Shadow, study the Earth, Shaking Mountain, Collapsing Talisman and the 1,000 Leaves Soaring Dragon Talisman. Learn to draw them. Aim for 300 to 500 sets of the 5 talisman types. The more, the better. Blood Shadow nodded and immediately began his study. Old Zhao, you're responsible for processing demon beast hides and spirit plant stems into talisman drawing materials for Blood Shadow. Zhao Guangzheng said he had to assist Ji Kun in refining his life-bound magic treasure while also preparing talisman drawing materials for Blood Shadow. But what could he say? He kept working, holding multiple positions without even a single high-grade spirit stone as compensation. Blood Shadow immediately began studying the runes. As Li Qingyuan's Divine Sense Origin clone, his Niwan Palace contained a 4th-grade Yin-Sha Pearl, within which resided Li Qingyuan's Divine Sense Origin. Li Qingyuan was essentially multitasking. All the skills he controlled, alchemy, talisman drawing, artifact refining, puppetry, formation arrays, Blood Shadow also controlled. Blood Shadow served as his alchemy assistant, artifact refining assistant, and talisman drawing assistant, allowing Li Qingyuan to devote more time to cultivation and free himself up. Of course, when it came to breaking through to 4th-grade alchemist, talisman master, artifact refiner, or formation master, or when breaking through bottlenecks and raising realms, Li Qingyuan himself had to personally handle the initial breakthroughs. However, drawing new 3rd-grade superior talisman papers was not difficult for Blood Shadow. As a 3rd-grade superior talisman master himself, he could naturally accomplish it. Inside the Xuanpin space, Blood Shadow drew talismans while Ji Kun refined his life-bound magic treasure. The Flame Dragon Lizard breathed fire for artifact refining, while Zhao Guangzheng alternated between assisting Ji Kun and preparing talisman, drawing materials, rushing about in a flurry. After giving his instructions, Li Qingyuan continued body tempering. Thunderbolts crashed, sparks flew, and fierce winds rose. All these violent powers were channeled directly into his body to temper his physique. He had only traveled 1/5 of the way through the Heavenly Thunder Secret Realm, and the 5th Thunder God pattern was nearly 1/3 condensed. Success was imminent. Master, there's another batch of corpses ahead, Zhen Xing said. They're all disciples from various major powers, including some from the great families of the Divine Continent. It seems this is still the work of the 5 Elements Gate and the Little 5 Elements King. Later, after the Little 5 Elements King entered the secret realm, wherever he went, he would capture targets and kill witnesses, then fabricate the scene to make it appear they had died from the secret realm's yin fire, beng wind, or heavenly thunder, leaving no obvious traces of death by another's magic treasure. Li Qingyuan smiled thoughtfully. I was wondering why Xia Ying's storage ring had even more good things than Tie Wuya and Cao Yifei, almost catching up to Huo Lingzi. So she had been robbing prodigy disciples from various major powers. Master, there are people ahead. Zhenxing pointed forward, where another batch of mid-golden core cultivators and a few late golden core cultivators had appeared. Li Qingyuan said calmly, "Kill, we'll attack together." Li Qingyuan and Zhenxing joined forces. They slaughtered indiscriminately, sparing no one below the nascent soul stage. 1 batch, 2 batches, 3 batches. Including Xia Ying's group of over a dozen, Li Qingyuan and Zhenxing killed over 100 mid-golden core prodigies and more than 10 late golden core cultivators from the Five Elements Gate. Their harvest was bountiful. Pills, magical tools, talisman papers, puppets, formation arrays, spirit stones, techniques, spells, all kinds of cultivation resources filled storage ring after storage ring. 20 days later, Li Qingyuan arrived at the core of the Heavenly Thunder secret realm. Here, the thunder was even more violent, with thunder energy surging and lightning constantly rubbing against the sky, producing countless sparks. The three forces of thunder, fire, and wind grew increasingly intense. Li Qingyuan stopped. The fifth Thunder God pattern was now half condensed, and his physical golden core was about to transform. Li Qingyuan instructed, "I will go into secluded cultivation here for a time to break through late golden core physical body. Zhenxing, guard me." At the same time, Li Qingyuan transmitted a message. "Old Zhao, I'm opening the Xuanpin space gate. You can come and go freely. If Zhenxing shows any sign of disloyalty, kill him immediately." Zhao Guangzheng was startled for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, master." Even though he had seized Zhenxing's nascent soul true blood and could control the man's life and death, his master remained highly vigilant, worried that Zhenxing might launch a surprise attack during this critical moment of breakthrough. Li Qingyuan sat down cross-legged. Pills that had been copied within the Xuanpin space could be consumed without worry. From the storage pouches of Huo Lingzi, Mu Lingzi, and Shui Lingzi, he had obtained a third-grade superior pill, the Spirit Origin Pill. The Spirit Origin Pill was an advanced version of the True Person Pill and the Myriad True Pill, more effective for healing and increasing cultivation. Moreover, it was of premium quality, showing that the Five Elements Gate's alchemist was no ordinary fourth-grade alchemy master. 1 Spirit Origin Pill was as effective as 2 Myriad True Pills. After copying the pills, Li Qingyuan gave 10 each to Blood Shadow, Jikun, and the Flame Dragon Lizard to help them cultivate or restore magical power during artifact refining and to maintain their refining state. Jikun's life-bound magic treasure had already taken shape and was beginning to fuse. It was a colorful sphere, shaped like an egg or an olive. Li Qingyuan took a deep breath, formed hand seals with both hands, and with all his strength activated the wind-thunder invincible body, drawing in the power of lightning, flame, and fierce wind to temper himself. The potent and pure medicinal power of the Spirit Origin Pill was continuously refined and absorbed, enhancing his body and strengthening his blood and qi. Zhenxing sat cross-legged 1,000 zhang away, guarding. He thought to himself, "He trusts me this much. No, no." Zhenxing shook his head. "There's still Jikun, that fierce beast in the Xuanpin space, and old Zhao." Zhenxing took a deep breath, calmed his mind, and focused on his guarding duty. Time passed. Li Qingyuan cultivated like this for over a month. A loud boom echoed. On this day, thunder exploded within Li Qingyuan's body. This thunder power did not come from the Heavenly Thunder secret realm, but was born from Li Qingyuan's flesh, blood, qi, and magical power. The Thunder God patterns lit up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When the fifth Thunder God pattern lit up, Li Qingyuan's bones and sinews sang in unison, his blood and qi surged to the heavens, and the sound of tiger and leopard thunder erupted from within his body. The 2-inch physical golden core in his Tanzhong acupoint cracked, shed its shell, expanded, and transformed, becoming a 3-inch golden core. The 3-inch golden core was crimson and perfectly round, containing powerful life force and surging blood and qi. The golden core's surface was wrapped in wind and thunder power, with arcs of electricity flickering, and its pressure filled heaven and earth. Zhen Xing's eyes narrowed slightly. He's breaking through late golden core physical body? The moment of breakthrough a bottleneck is when one is most vulnerable. Should I strike? Everyone craved freedom, just as they craved life itself, or even more than life. If I'm fast enough, I can surely kill him in an instant, reclaim the nascent soul true blood, and from now on, regain my freedom. But what are my chances of success? Chapter 404, Leveling Up All the Way, Looting All the Way. Murderous intent stirred within Zhen Xing's heart, and inner conflict tormented him. Of course, he dared not show even a trace of it. His gaze remained as calm as still water, betraying nothing. I must not act rashly, Zhen Xing concluded. Inside the Xuanpin space were Zhao Guangzheng, Ji Kun, Blood Shadow, and the Flame Dragon Lizard. Especially old Zhao and Ji Kun, if either of them appeared, they could defeat and subdue him. Against Ji Kun, a great demon at the late third stage, even with a slight advantage in realm and possessing early nascent soul divine sense, Zhen Xing had no certainty of victory. Only against Blood Shadow and the Flame Dragon Lizard could he be sure of winning, and Li Qingyuan has always been cautious. He trusts no one. How could he possibly break through his realm before me without any precautions, putting himself in danger? Zhen Xing thought to himself, I know him too well. He is extremely steady, always keeping something in reserve in both his actions and dealings. Or he is deliberately showing weakness, then striking with a killing blow. Zhen Xing sat cross-legged, drawing his spirit inward. He formed hand seals, and the water yuan shield floated above his head to block the rolling heavenly thunder. He took pills to regulate his magical power while diligently carrying out his guard duties. Boom, boom, boom. Around Li Qingyuan, fierce winds coiled like dragons, and thunder shook the air. Wind and thunder power swirled, friction generated electric currents, and lightning flashed blindingly. Thunder struck the space, sparking flames, yet the fire burned his body without causing any damage. Under the neutralizing effect of the Seed of Longevity, the thunder power became his to command. Absorbed by his Yang Wood magical power, even the flames and lightning became his to use. Beneath Li Qingyuan's chest, in his Tanzhong acupoint within his flesh, a crimson physical golden core radiated light. It was now 3 inches in size, perfectly round, and a brilliant red. Wind runes and thunder runes were branded onto the golden core's surface. Once the golden core activated, it could draw wind and thunder power for his use in attacking and killing. The breakthrough phenomenon lasted a full hour. An hour later, Li Qingyuan's body-tempering magical power completed its final great cycle, returning to the golden core in his Tanzhong acupoint. He then exhaled a long breath of turbid qi and opened his eyes. When his eyes opened, they revealed a pair of different colored pupils, one green, one red. The green and red colors flashed and then vanished, accentuating his masculine bearing. Soon, his gaze returned to calm, deep as still water. Li Qingyuan smiled with satisfaction. Body and qi dual cultivation, late golden core. This year, on the 13th day of the 8th month of the 9 provinces calendar, by his birthday calculation, he had just turned 86. 86 years old, dual cultivation paths, late golden core. Li Qingyuan's lips curled slightly. A nascent soul within 100 years is within reach. In the 10,000 years of the 9 provinces continent, only 3 people had broken through to peak golden core and reached nascent soul within 100 years. Dugu Taishuan, Dugu Lei, and Dugu Yuan, the founding ancestor of the Taishuan dynasty, the current human king, and the 5 elements king of Yellow Province. The Dugu clan was truly blessed by heaven. Zhen Xing flew over, bowed with clasped hands, and congratulated him. Congratulations, Master, congratulations. Dual cultivation paths, late golden core, nascent soul is within reach. With Master's current strength, you could suppress the little 5 elements king with one hand. Li Qingyuan chuckled. Stop flattering me. You don't even believe that yourself, do you? Zhen Xing. Yes, of course he didn't believe it. Suppressing the little 5 elements king with one hand was extremely difficult, even for an ordinary early nascent soul cultivator, especially after hearing about the little 5 elements king seizing the 9 suns Ganoderma. Zhen Xing deeply understood the foundation of the 5 elements gate as the foremost of the 7 superpowers. The Human King Hall was the most transcendent. Below the Human King Hall were the 7 superpowers, and the 5 Elements Gate had been the foremost among all major powers for 10,000 years, never changing. Its foundation was so strong, its roots so deep, its inheritance so ancient that it rivaled the Human King Hall itself. Li Qingyuan stood up. Let's go. On to the next secret realm. They had only passed through 3 of the 5 Fiends' secret realms. But even passing through just 3 secret realms, Li Qingyuan had gained many benefits. At the entrance to the Immortal Estate, at the Myriad Medicine Divine Mountain, there were various spirit plants and precious medicines. He had killed 5 Elements Gate prodigies, Yellow Province prodigies, and nascent soul seeds from various provinces who had pledged allegiance to the Little 5 Elements King, looting all the way. He obtained all kinds of resources until his hands grew tired. With body and key jewel cultivation, he had consecutive breakthroughs, reaching late golden core. A few days later, Li Qingyuan and Zhen Xing encountered another group of the Little 5 Elements King's forces, led by 5 Elements Gate prodigies from Yellow Province. The two struck with lightning speed, killing them all. Various golden core magic treasures, 3rd-grade magical tools, 3rd-grade spirit plants, demon beast materials, and spirit stone resources poured into their hands in great quantities. Li Qingyuan's purse was far too full. The total harvest made even Zhen Xing, a true nascent soul true lord, blink in amazement. He admitted that even as a nascent soul cultivator, he had never seen so many resources. 10 days later, the two finally crossed the Heavenly Thunder secret realm and arrived at the entrance to the 4th secret realm. Master, the 4th secret realm is here. Zhen Xing looked at the stone tablet at the entrance. Li Qingyuan also looked and saw a line of text, Karma Secret Realm. Those with more sin and heavier karmic burden would find it difficult to take even a single step. Those with great sin and great demonic cultivation would be burned by karmic fire, with 9 chances of death and only 1 of life. Li Qingyuan's expression changed, and he murmured to himself, "What is sin? What is karma?" Zhen Xing, you come from the Taiyi Gate of Heavenly Province, a Buddhist sect. Can you answer me? Zhen Xing thought for a moment, then replied, "To answer, Master, sin is indiscriminate killing, especially killing the innocent. Sin accumulates on one's person. As for karma, it is divided into 3 types, good karma, evil karma, and neutral karma." Li Qingyuan asked, "I understand good karma and evil karma. What is neutral karma?" Zhen Xing said, "Actions that are neither clearly good nor clearly evil, whose retribution is not significant or uncertain, can be called neutral karma. In our Buddhist view, karma is a force that drives the reincarnation of life and the development of individual destiny. Through the function of karma, all beings continuously reincarnate through the 6 paths." Li Qingyuan looked at the inscription, Karma Secret Realm, and pondered. Is this secret realm meant to filter those with good karma? But on the path of immortal cultivation, good people die young, while evil cultivators live for 1,000 years. Li Qingyuan took a deep breath, stepped forward, and entered the secret realm. The 4th secret realm, the Karma Secret Realm, was a vast expanse of white, formless, shapeless, colorless, nothing but emptiness. Li Qingyuan took his first step. When his foot landed, his spirit shook. Various images emerged and surged toward him, faces, people flying at him. "Qing Miao Yi, Li Qingyuan, return my life," Qingquan said. "Li Qingyuan, return my life." He had slaughtered bandit cultivators, the 3 quasi-second-grade talisman masters, Zhao Tu, Gong Ji, Zheng Yuan, and all those who had died because of him, whether directly or indirectly by his hand. There were various bandit cultivators, various families, from both righteous and demonic paths. There were young and old cultivators, as well as widows and orphans who had died indirectly because of him when enemies took revenge. On this day, at this moment, they came to demand his life. In addition, from Yue Kingdom of Huang Province, the elders of the Ma family he had killed, the Ma family patriarch, and all the Ma family members who had died because of him came. There were old thief Qi Yun, Lei Chen and his son, the Corpse Puppet Sect, and Myriad Phenomena, sect disciples he had killed during the Foundation establishment trial, the evil cultivator foundation building prodigies of Huang Province's 7 kingdoms, and cultivators from various powers. 100 vengeful spirits, 200 vengeful spirits, 500 vengeful spirits, over 1,000 vengeful spirits. Among them, Qin Miaoyi, Qin Chuan, Qi Yun, and Blood Shadow were the most powerful. They flew rapidly toward Li Qingyuan, and the tide of thousands of vengeful spirits swallowed and covered him. After a dozen breaths, Li Qingyuan was swallowed by the tide of vengeful spirits, vanishing from sight. "Get away from me!" A thunderous roar exploded. As he used his nascent soul divine sense to drive the heart demon pupils, a mass of blazing light erupted from the center of the vengeful spirit tide. Li Qingyuan blasted countless vengeful spirits away and strode forward. Sin, karma, what a joke. If I didn't kill them, they would have killed me. Li Qingyuan's steps were firm. His nascent soul divine sense protected his body, and he sneered. Without me, the Sea Archipelago would have become the Qin family's nourishment. If I hadn't killed the Ma family, they would have killed even more people in the future. I am not a good person, but I have also done good deeds. Li Qingyuan's gaze was resolute. Killing to protect life, cutting down sin, not cutting down people. A boom echoed. Li Qingyuan strode forward. His own karmic burden condensed into a powerful pressure. As he walked, the vengeful spirits around him collapsed one after another. A slight smile curled at the corner of his mouth. This so-called karma secret realm is nothing more than an illusionary trial of the heart. Those with weak will, insufficient concentration, and no fearless heart cannot take a single step. Li Qingyuan's gaze was calm. He walked with his hands behind his back, reciting, "A cultivator must kill, kill without mercy. 1,000 autumns of undying achievement, all found in killing. Killing one is a sin. Killing 10,000 makes one a hero. Kill 1,000,000, and you become the hero among heroes. Hero among heroes, the Tao is different. We cultivators are true men. Kill 1,000,000 without remorse. All the past, the myriad vengeful spirits," Li Qingyuan said softly, "are merely a bit of wind and frost." Inside the Xuanpin space, Zhao Guangjing listened, his blood boiling and emotions surging. Such a Tao heart. Truly a born demon seed, a peerless demonic cultivator unmatched in 10,000. This child's future will surely surpass mine. Above him was the great ascension stage, the pinnacle of the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Chapter 407, Soul-Suppressing Stone, the 6th man appears. 2 hours later, Zhao Guangjing successfully broke through the restrictions and removed the forbidden runes that had been planted on the ancient nascent soul treasure. Throughout this process, Li Qingyuan learned a considerable amount of foundational knowledge about restrictions, as well as the application of curse seals. Li Qingyuan reached out with the crane capture dragon technique from a distance. His enormous magical hand clenched, suppressed the sharp aura emanating from the ancient nascent soul treasure, and successfully subdued it. The foot-long needle shrank until it was only 3 inches in size. Li Qingyuan opened his palm, and a sewing needle hovered above it. This ancient treasure emitted peculiar runes, possessing a penetrating quality that other magical treasures lacked, its sharpness fully exposed. 2 extremely tiny characters were engraved on the needle's body, Xuanming, the Xuanming needle. That name is somewhat interesting. Li Qingyuan stored away the flying needle ancient treasure and continued forward. Not long after advancing, he began to discover corpses, traces of blood, and signs of battle. Zhao Guangjing said, "It seems that when they were scouting with their divine sense, they accidentally triggered the restrictions. There is a restriction here that can instantly kill a core formation cultivator." Over the next tens of thousands of paces, they found no ancient treasures and no high-grade spirit plants. "Why is there nothing?" Li Qingyuan frowned. Zhao Guangjing shook his head. "It's not that there's nothing. Rather, someone ahead of us has also broken through the restrictions and seized the ancient treasures and high-grade spirit plants." He furrowed his brow. But their technique was too crude. They must have barely managed to find a few restriction nodes, then gathered everyone's strength to launch a fierce assault, a brute force breakthrough. Zhao Guangjing pointed ahead and said, "Look here, there are still remnants of the restrictions." He waved his hand and struck out with a curse seal, causing the remnants of the restrictive killing formation to reveal their true form. Li Qingyuan listened and said, "Interesting. So there's someone who has some knowledge of the art of restrictions. Who could it be? Let's keep moving, catch up to them." "Oh, right." Li Qingyuan activated his formless divine ability and transformed into a wood spirit. Since he possessed the seed of longevity, any wood attribute aura he simulated and transformed could achieve an authenticity that made truth and falsehood indistinguishable. Even if he transformed into fire spirit, the formless divine ability could simulate the aura, but it would not be as safe as becoming wood spirit. True nature also changed his appearance, taking on the form of water spirit, tall and upright, with a gentle, handsome, androgynous beauty. Both of them shared the same type of attractiveness. Li Qingyuan said, "We've already tested it. The dangerous land secret realm is isolated from the outside world, and we can't communicate through voice transmission. So, the little five elements, King, Gold Spirit, and the others still don't know what happened at the Myriad Medicine Divine Mountain." Li Qingyuan chuckled slyly, looking exactly like a scheming sixth man. True nature's gaze turned cold. "Gold Spirit, I will personally kill him." The last old monk who had made him unclean, he had killed with his own hands. Now, he was determined to kill the person who had defiled the body he had seized. At that moment, Zhao Guangjang spoke up. "Master, there is a restriction here. Its power is weak, only capable of threatening mid-stage core formation cultivators. Would you like to try to break through it?" "All right, I'll give it a try," Li Qingyuan said. "Old Zhao, you guide me." Thus, under Zhao Guangjang's instruction, Li Qingyuan began to apply his knowledge of restrictions to condense curse seals, using curse seal techniques to attempt to break through the restrictive killing formation. Several days later, even Li Qingyuan, who had condensed his nascent soul divine sense, felt exhausted. Fortunately, he succeeded. With the final curse seal technique, the restriction on Zhao was lifted, and he successfully broke through the node of the restrictive killing formation and lifted the restriction runes. Zhao Guangjang praised, "Master's talent in the art of restrictions is in no way inferior to this old man's." After his initial successful attempt, and with guidance from the Xuanpin space, Li Qingyuan gained a deeper understanding and knowledge of restriction runes and curse seal techniques. His interest was sparked, and his confidence grew. "Let's continue." And so it went. Zhao Guangjang scouted ahead, and whenever he encountered weak or ordinary restrictive killing formations, he guided Li Qingyuan to break them. When they encountered powerful killing formations that didn't seal ancient treasures or high-grade spirit plants, they took a detour. With old Zhao's guidance, they could easily avoid them. If they encountered formations that used high-grade spirit plants, fourth-rank materials, fourth-rank artifacts, or fourth-rank ores as restriction materials to engrave runes, Zhao Guangjang would personally handle the restrictions, helping Li Qingyuan obtain the treasures. In the blink of an eye, another 3 months passed. After 3 months, Li Qingyuan had obtained a total of 5 fourth-rank spirit plants, the 5 elements fruit tree, the earth infant fruit tree, the human infant flower, the sun moon soul, nourishing lotus, and the flood dragon bloodvine. After duplication, he had 10 plants. He had also obtained 3 ancient nascent soul treasures, the Xuanming needle, the colorful cloud handkerchief, and the mountain settling staff. All were life-bound magical treasures of ancient nascent soul cultivators. With his nascent soul divine sense, Li Qingyuan could refine the treasure restrictions and make the ancient treasures serve him. Additionally, he had obtained 3 types of fourth-rank ores, which could be used to forge fourth-rank artifacts, or to add the finishing touch to his life-bound magical treasure during refinement. After more than 2 months of rapidly absorbing knowledge about the art of restrictions, combined with the opportunity to continuously break through restrictions in this restricted mountain environment, and with guidance from the Xuanpan space, Li Qingyuan's proficiency in restrictions had progressed from nothing to something, advancing by leaps and bounds. Zhao Guangjang and true nature had gone from surprise to praise, then to numbness, and finally to calm. Half a month ago, when it came to the last ancient nascent soul treasure, the mountain settling staff, Zhao Guangjang had provided no guidance at all. Li Qingyuan had relied entirely on his own efforts, spending half a month to successfully lift the restriction. Since he independently lifted the restriction on the ancient nascent soul treasure, Li Qingyuan seemed to have experienced an epiphany. His proficiency in restrictions underwent a qualitative leap, and his restriction curse seals directly ascended to a new level. "There are people ahead." Suddenly, Zhao Guangjang spoke. He was proficient in restrictions, and his primordial spirit power could move through the restricted mountain, while others could not fully extend their divine sense for fear of triggering the surrounding restrictive killing formations. Li Qingyuan and true nature looked up but saw no one. Zhao Guangjung said, "Master, if you advance 5,000 paces ahead, you will encounter them. Moreover, the exit of the restricted mountain secret realm has also been reached." Li Qingyuan nodded. "Good, you may return first. Old Zhao, you have worked hard along the way." Zhao Guangjung was slightly moved. It was not easy. The other party was finally capable of saying pleasant words. As a demonic cultivator, Zhao Guangjung hadn't realized that he was now so easily moved. It was probably because his days before had been too much like those of a beast of burden. Zhao Guangjing returned to the Xuanpin space, where he could see everything outside through visual sharing. Li Qingyuan looked at True Nature and said, "Let's go, Water Spirit Junior, brother." True Nature was startled. Water Spirit Junior brother? Ah, right. He was now Water Spirit, and his master was Wood Spirit. But seriously, you got into character way too fast. No wonder you could succeed. There was indeed a reason. True Nature immediately responded, "Yes, Wood Spirit Senior brother." A distance of 5,000 paces was quickly covered. Just as they caught sight of the group, the more advanced cultivators also sensed their approach. Who goes there? The little five elements. King, Wang Fugi, Ye Xuan, Zhang Tianxi, Zhang Xuanshu, and Gold Spirit all turned to look. The next moment, Gold Spirit exclaimed with joy, "Water Spirit, Junior brother, Wood Spirit Junior brother, you've come too." Seeing Gold Spirit's delighted expression and burning gaze, True Nature's backside tightened. He instinctively wanted to step back half a pace, but Li Qingyuan immediately sent a voice message, "Stay calm. Don't give yourself away." The next moment, Li Qingyuan and True Nature both showed expressions of joy. They clasped their fists in salute and said, "Greetings, Your Highness, the Crown Prince. Your subordinates have finally caught up to you." The little five elements. King laughed heartily. "Good, it's good that you've come. You two have truly not disappointed this Crown Prince. By the way, where is Fire Spirit?" Li Qingyuan said, "Fire Spirit's senior brother is still behind, dealing with the remaining forces and capturing those who slipped through the net." The little five elements. King nodded. "Good, you've all done well. There will be generous rewards when we return." "Thank you, Your Highness, the Crown Prince." The two quickly expressed their gratitude and joined the group. Gold Spirit stepped forward, his voice warm and magnetic. "Water Spirit Junior. Brother, you've arrived just in time." True Nature, "Damn it. Don't come closer. I'll lose control of my murderous intent." The expressions of Wang Fugi, Ye Xuan, Zhang Xuanshu, and Zhang Tianxi changed slightly. "The disciples of the Five Elements Gate have arrived. But what about our disciples behind us? Could it be that they have already?" Wang Fugui's face darkened. "Little Five Elements, King, you have recklessly killed and harmed the prodigies of the 9 provinces. The human king will not forgive you, nor will he forgive the Five Elements Gate." The little five elements. King chuckled. "Ridiculous. Once you're all dead, naturally no one will know what happened in the Five Fiends' secret realm. How you died, what does that have to do with my Five Elements Gate?" Ye Xuan said coldly, "Swallowing us up. I'm afraid your Five Elements Gate isn't qualified." Gold Spirit stepped forward and sneered, "We'll find out in battle." Li Qingyuan watched the scene, thick with gunpowder, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. He thought to himself, "Interesting. Zhang Xuanshu and Zhang Tianqi have both advanced to the peak of core formation, and there's True Water, the prodigy of the Heavenly Gate sect from Heavenly Province. He's also reached the peak of core formation, and he's actually chosen to join the Little Five Elements King's side and serve him." It seemed that the Heavenly Gate sect was also one of the forces close to the Five Elements King. In addition, there was a third faction, an alliance formed by prodigies from Earth Province, Xuan Province, Yu Province, Zhou Province, and others. The weakest among them were at mid-stage core formation perfection or late-stage core formation. They were also a force not to be underestimated. Guanyang of the Zhengyang Gate from Xuan Province, and Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao of the Biyun Gate, these two, along with many established late-stage core formation prodigies, jointly led the alliance forces, helping each other to reach this place. Yu Zhao pointed ahead and said, "Fellow Taoist Wang, Your Highness the Little Five Elements King, rather than wasting your strength in internal conflict, why not join forces to break through the last 3 restrictions and open the gate of the restricted mountain?" Li Qingyuan heard this and looked at the last 3 restrictive killing formations. His expression changed. 20 pieces of top-grade spirit stones, a drop of extraordinary and unusual blood, and a steel that defies description. At this moment, Li Qingyuan and True Nature, the two latecomers, had burning eyes and were breathing rapidly. They exclaimed in surprise, "Top-grade spirit stones?" Their surprise was understandable to everyone because it had been their own reaction at first. Faced with top-grade spirit stones, no core formation cultivator could remain calm. In the Xuanpan space, Zhao Guanzhang said excitedly, "Master, that steel is the soul-suppressing stone." "Haha, this is truly an unexpected pleasant surprise." Li Qingyuan looked at the stele, his heart skipping a beat. The soul-suppressing stone. This is one of the two main materials for refining the 10,000 soul banner. I must get my hands on it. Chapter 408, Breaking the Restrictions, Competing for the Top-Grade Spirit Stones. Ye Xuan looked at Yu Zhao and said, "Breaking the restrictions. Easier said than done. These 3 restrictions have blocked us for 3 months already. If we delay any longer, the 3-year deadline of the trial ground will be upon us." Gold Spirit said flatly, "That's because you're incompetent." Fellow Taoist True Water found 9 flaws in the restrictions. The 2 fairies, Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao, found 7 flaws together. You only found 6 flaws. If fellow Taoist Zhang of Dragon Tiger Mountain could have found 1 or 2 more flaws, this restriction rune might have already been broken. Zhang Tianyu heard this and glared angrily. "If you're so capable, why don't you do it? You don't understand restrictions, so why are you shouting?" If the fairies, Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao, hadn't joined forces, how could they have caught up to my senior brother? Dragon Tiger Mountain. The dragon and tiger, dual prodigies, 1 dragon, 1 tiger, Zhang Tianxi and Zhang Tianyu. Zhang Tianxi was the senior brother, with higher cultivation, and had now reached the peak of core formation. Zhang Tianxi said, "Give me another month or so, and I will definitely find more restrictions. Then we can join forces to break the formation." Earth Spirit said, "Another month or so? You said the same thing 3 months ago. Can your Dragon Tiger Mountain do it or not?" Zhang Tianyu was furious. "Fine, we can't do it. In that case, let's all forget about passing through the restricted mountain. Everyone can go home. Forget about the top-grade spirit stones, the ancient precious blood, the ancient steely, and the immortal estate inheritance outside the gate of the restricted mountain. None of it matters." Earth Spirit snorted coldly. "You say, forget it, but who do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are?" Zhang Tianyu cursed loudly. "Ah, you're asking for death," Earth Spirit charged out. A boom sounded. Boom. Zhang Tianyu and Earth Spirit both shot forward at the same time, unleashing their life-bound magical treasures. One excelled in offense, the other in defense. Their combat strength was evenly matched, and they unleashed their power, venting their anger. The little 5 elements. King frowned. Enough. Joining forces to break the formation is what matters. With a bang, the Divine Soul Bell flew out, knocking Zhang Tianyu back and causing blood to trickle from the corner of his mouth. He glared and said, "You." The little 5 elements. King stared back, and Zhang Tianyu said, "Fine, you win. A true man knows when to bend and when to stand." The little 5 elements King held the Divine Soul Bell and said, "Everyone, please break the formation." At that moment, Li Qingyuan suddenly remembered something and said, "Water Spirit Junior, brother, the art of restrictions and runes has quite a bit in common. I recall that you've privately studied the art of restrictions, haven't you?" Ah, True Nature was startled, then nodded. "Ah, yes. Fine. You're the master. Whatever you say goes. Whatever you say, I know. "Oh." Gold Spirit heard this and asked curiously, "Water Spirit Junior, brother has privately studied restrictions?" The little 5 elements King asked. "In that case, Water Spirit, you will join fellow Taoist True Water in finding the weaknesses of the restrictive killing formation." True Nature said respectfully, "Yes, Your Highness, the Crown Prince." True Water Junior. "Brother," True Nature thought to himself, "I didn't expect this kid to have reached the peak of core formation now, about to break through to the nascent soul stage." True Nature and True Water knew each other, but not very well. The Heavenly Gate sect was too large, 12 halls, 72 peaks. There were indeed many acquaintances, but few friends. Soon, from the 5 elements gate side, True Nature and True Water stepped forward. From the alliance of Wang Fugui, Ye Xuan, Zhang Tianxi, and Zhang Xuanshu, Zhang Tianzi slowly walked out. From the other various forces, the Zhengyang Gate, the Heavenly Saber Gate, the Heavenly Sword Gate, the Biyun Gate, and others, the twin sisters Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao, who shared a single mind, stepped forward. Li Qingyuan thought to himself, I didn't expect the Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao sisters to have some knowledge of the art of restrictions. He only glanced at them briefly before looking away, secretly transmitting a voice message. Old Zhao, from now on, you will secretly guide true nature in finding the flaws in the restrictions through voice transmission. Oh, and Li Qingyuan's lips curled slightly as he added through voice transmission, when the restrictions are broken, make the top-grade spirit stones fly up. I want all the various forces to fall into chaos and slaughter each other, so I can fish in troubled waters and seize the soul-suppressing stone amidst the confusion. Zhao Guangjing chuckled slyly. Leave it to me. This old man is a professional demonic cultivator. Soon, the five gathered together, their divine sense surging, their golden core magical power spreading. True nature, true water, Zhang Tianzi, and Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao all acted at the same time, forming curse seals that touched the restrictive killing formation, activating it. Having watched Zhao Guangjing guide Li Qingyuan for several months, true nature hadn't been idle. His comprehension ability was originally ranked among the top 3 of the true generation of the Heavenly Gate sect, so he was naturally not weak. Thus, true nature had also learned a few curse seal techniques. Listening to Zhao Guangjing's primordial spirit voice transmission from afar, he struck out with curse seals that activated the restrictions power without triggering the killing formation. When an expert makes a move, one can immediately tell if they have skill. The other 4 saw this and nodded slightly. True water praised. Fellow Taoist water spirit is indeed deeply versed in the art of restrictions. With this, breaking the restrictions is just around the corner. The 5 nodded, then began to comprehend the restriction runes, searching for flaws. 3 low hums resonated. The soul-suppressing stone, the ancient precious blood, and the top-grade spirit stones, these 3 divine objects, were spaced 100 paces apart, forming an equilateral triangle that interwove and connected the restrictive killing formation in series. In the Xuanpin space, Zhao Guangjing said, Master, between the soul-suppressing stone, the ancient precious blood, and the top-grade spirit stones, there are 3 restrictive formations each. That makes 9 restrictions in total, and the power of these 9 restrictions is interconnected, combining to form a new restrictive killing formation. If this formation is triggered by brute force, even a nascent soul true lord who takes a hit will either die or be crippled. Even a late-stage nascent soul grand cultivator, if not proficient in the art of restrictions, cannot forcefully break the formation and may even find it difficult to protect themselves. Having said this, Zhao Guangjing continued to guide true nature in breaking the formation through voice transmission from afar. True nature's comprehension speed was steady, not inferior to the Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao sisters, and second only to true water. Time passed day by day. Soon, half a month had passed, and everyone had reached their limit in comprehending the flaws in the restrictions. True water had 9, Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao had 7, Zhang Tianzi had 6, and true nature had reached a pleasing 8. After another half-month, Zhang Tianzi exclaimed with pleasant surprise, I finally found it. He flicked his finger, striking out with a curse seal to break through the 7th restriction runes. Yu Zhao said, Sister, here. The sisters acted with tacit understanding, pressing forward to break through 8 restriction runes. I found it too. True nature struck out, unleashing 3 curse seals in succession, breaking through a total of 11 restriction runes, achieving the best individual result. The restriction runes on the top-grade spirit stones were broken through the most, creating a gap in the restrictions. The entire restrictive grand formation began to operate slowly, and the power of the killing formation was greatly reduced. True nature struck out repeatedly, unleashing curse seals to attack the runes engraved on the top-grade spirit stones, quickly breaking through the restrictions. He hurriedly said, Your Highness the Crown Prince, the top-grade spirit stones are about to come out. The little 5 elements, King had originally been puzzled. Water Spirit's proficiency in the art of restrictions is this high, it far exceeds his attainment in the art of talismans. However, seeing that he was about to obtain the top-grade spirit stones, he immediately cast aside his distracting thoughts and flew forward, unleashing the Divine Soul Bell to attack the unsealed opening of the restrictive formation. Wang Fugui, Ye Xuan, Guan Yang, the Heavenly Sword Gate, the Heavenly Saber Gate, and the various prodigies saw this and all struck out to attack the restrictive formation, assisting the five in breaking through the restrictions. 3 booming sounds echoed. There were over 200 prodigies on the scene, all elites among elites. They concentrated their firepower to bombard the floors in the restrictions, with the Little Five Elements King and Wang Fugi leading the charge, and several peak core formation prodigies attacking with full force. Even an early-stage nascent soul cultivator would find it difficult to withstand. With a thunderous roar, the restrictions finally broke open, beginning to disintegrate inch by inch from the top-grade spirit stones, and the runes scattered. The next moment, Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao, True Water, and Jiang Tianxi all struck out at the same time, snatching at the top-grade spirit stones. They were the closest to the 3 divine objects. True Nature's subsequent strike was not to seize, but to strike violently, directly sending the 20 pieces of top-grade spirit stones flying in all directions. He then shouted, "Disciples of the Five Elements Gate, seize the spirit stones." At these words, the disciples of the Five Elements Gate all responded, snatching for the top-grade spirit stones. At the same time, the core formation prodigies of the various forces, seeing the top-grade spirit stones as a great tonic and a smooth path to the nascent soul stage, all unleashed their magical treasures to claim the top-grade spirit stones. 3 clangs rang out. The various forces immediately clashed in fierce, bloody battle. Li Qingyuan, disguised as Wood Spirit, unleashed his Wood Spirit Vine Core Formation magical treasure and charged forward, drawing ever closer to the disintegrating restrictive Grand Formation, the ancient precious blood, and the soul-suppressing stone. There are actually smart people here. Li Qingyuan was startled. Wang Fugui, Ye Xuan, Jiang Xuanchu, the Little Five Elements King, and Gold Spirit, 5 people, charged directly toward the ancient precious blood, merely instructing their subordinates to seize the top-grade spirit stones. While the 5 peak core formation cultivators were seizing the ancient precious blood, Li Qingyuan swung his long vine, and the Wood Spirit Vine coiled around the soul-suppressing stone. The next moment, the Wood Spirit Vine hummed. A power that could seize souls and suppress the spirit surged back along the magical treasure, attacking Li Qingyuan's divine sense. Li Qingyuan immediately released his nascent soul divine sense, meditated on the Qianmu visualization method, and used his 9-leaf spiritual sapling to resist the soul-suppressing stone's assault on his soul. Taking the opportunity, he snatched it away and stored it in his spatial ring. The Little Five Elements King saw this and praised, "Well done. Wood Spirit, come quickly and assist this Crown Prince in seizing the ancient precious blood." Li Qingyuan smiled from the corner of his mouth and flew forward. "Coming, Your Highness, the Crown Prince." Chapter 409, Heavy Casualties. The Devil Cultivator, stirring the pot. Li Qingyuan. Li Qingyuan had fully immersed himself in his role. At this moment, he was Wood Spirit, the Little Five Elements King's most loyal follower, a sect prodigy whose fortunes rose and fell with the Five Elements Gate. "Kill. You won't seize the ancient precious blood," Li Qingyuan declared in a loud voice. "Heaven's treasures belong to those capable of wielding them. Aside from my young master, no one in all the 9 provinces deserves to possess this item." He unleashed his Wood Spirit Vine, a magic treasure that transformed into countless wooden tendrils shooting through the sky, coiling around heaven and earth as they struck toward Jiang Xuanshu. "Young lord, I will hold one of them off for you," Li Qingyuan continued. This item was stored alongside top-grade spirit stones and sealed with restrictions by the master of this ancient immortal estate for preservation. That alone proves this single drop of ancient precious blood is worth no less than 20 top-grade spirit stones. His voice rose with excitement. "I once read an ancient record. It spoke of a certain true lord who had just entered the nascent soul realm. By chance, he obtained a single drop of ancient precious blood and directly ascended to the late nascent soul stage as a grand cultivator. Young lord, you must seize this precious blood and refine it, suppress an entire era, fulfill His Majesty's lifelong ambition of being the supreme under heaven." Jiang Xuanshu launched his counterattack, cursing as he did so. You talk too much. Do you think there aren't enough people already fighting over this ancient precious blood? He was furious now, unleashing his full power. His peak golden core cultivation exploded forth as he summoned his life-bound magic treasure. The assault drove Li Qingyuan back step by step. Only by occasionally activating third-grade superior talismans could Li Qingyuan barely hold Zhang Xuanshu at bay for short periods. The talismans he used were all ones that Wood Spirit himself carried. This way, neither the Little Five Elements King nor Gold Spirit would grow suspicious. Moreover, at this very moment, the entire scene had descended into chaos. Long simmering friction, collisions and conflicts had all been ignited by the 20 top-grade spirit stones and the ancient precious blood. The various factions became entangled in a melee. A brutal slaughter unfolded as mid-golden core cultivators began to fall. The cultivators were being culled. Gold Spirit seized 2 top-grade spirit stones, fighting his way through the carnage to reach the mountaintop. There he assisted the Little Five Elements King in holding off Ye Xuan, helping his lord seize the ancient precious blood. The Five Elements Gate, Heavenly Sword Gate, Heavenly Saber Gate, Zhengyang Gate, Tongbao Pavilion, Taiyi Gate, and Dragon Tiger Mountain, the prodigies of the 7 great superpowers of the 9 provinces. Continent clashed head-on. Kill, seize the top-grade spirit stones, break through to peak golden core. With just 5 top-grade spirit stones, the chances of forming a nascent soul will increase dramatically. We might even comprehend some of the mysteries of ancient divine transformation cultivators. The foundation would be extraordinary. The ancient precious blood belongs to none but my Wang family. Brother Fugi, we have come to aid you, Ye Xuan roared in fury. Gold Spirit, I, Ye Xuan, will cut you down today. Gold Spirit summoned his magic treasure, a pair of rings, blocking Ye Xuan's flying sword and puppet. He sneered, kill me, you're not qualified. Seize the ancient precious blood. One after another, peak golden core, late golden core, and mid-golden core prodigies summoned their magic treasures, activated their artifacts and talismans, and commanded their spells. All manner of magical combat unfolded. Full-strength clashes erupted. The heroes fought in chaotic melee, and casualties piled up. Ha ha! The top-grade spirit stone is mine! Mine! A fortunate mid-golden core cultivator caught a flying top-grade spirit stone, clutched it in his hand, and laughed aloud. The next second, 3 magical artifacts pierced through him, reducing him to a mist of blood. The top-grade spirit stone flew out again, claimed by a late golden core prodigy. This man was Qi Yuanshao, the young master of the Qi family, a prestigious clan from the Divine Continent. Yet no sooner had he grasped the spirit stone than he was targeted by golden core prodigies from all directions, who descended upon him. Qi Yuanshao chose to flee, fighting a running battle against the crowd. Scenes like this played out everywhere. At this moment, top-grade spirit stones were no longer treasures for cultivation, they were poison that hastened death. Yet once a spirit stone was in hand, how many could bear to let it go? A boom echoed. Zhang Xuanshu struck out with a palm, sending Li Qingyuan, in his guise as Wood Spirit, flying backward. By a stroke of coincidence, one of Zhang Xuanshu's spatial rings shattered, and 4th-grade spirit plants spilled forth. Human infant flowers, sun-moon soul, nourishing lotuses, even earth infant fruit trees, along with various 3rd-grade pills, 3rd-grade spirit plants, and golden core magic treasures were scattered everywhere. Li Qingyuan's voice was filled with anguish. My earth infant fruits, my human infant flowers, my pills and artifacts, all the resources I hunted so hard to obtain. Give them back! Li Qingyuan flew forward. His wood spirit vine pierced through a mid-golden core cultivator as he reclaimed the human infant flower. But 20 or 30 golden core cultivators had already descended upon him. These nascent soul-nurturing spirit plants and vast quantities of resources were even more alluring than 1 or 2 top-grade spirit stones. They seduced the heart and clouded the mind. Seeing Li Qingyuan fly away, Zhang Xuanshu turned and struck at Gold Spirit, joining forces with Ye Xuan to drive Gold Spirit back in defeat. The Little Five Elements, King and Gold Spirit both cursed. That useless Wood Spirit. Today they finally understood what it meant to have a teammate who was a liability. As for True Nature, he too was fighting with full force. His water element talisman formation lashed out, killing anyone in his path regardless of their faction. He needed to vent, to release the distortion and murderous intent festering within him. Kill, 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 kill. True nature carved through the various factions, charging back and forth. He alone seized 2 top-grade spirit stones, scattering 3rd-grade talismans by the handful. His water element talisman formation was terrifyingly powerful, slaying 2 or 3 golden core cultivators in a single strike. Senior brother water spirit. It's me, it's me! True nature's pupils were bloodshot as he flew before a 5 elements gate disciple. He seized the man by the neck. A demonic heart was rising within true nature. He was on the verge of falling to the demonic path. Li Qingyuan sent a voice transmission. Wake up, if you kill him, we'll be exposed right now. Damn it. You're slaughtering indiscriminately and have already drawn all the hatred onto the 5 elements gate. If you kill your own people now, anyone will see something is wrong. That's not the persona water spirit should have. True nature's mind jolted. He immediately began silently reciting the Buddhist heart-calming mantra of the Taiyi Gate to dispel the rising demonic heart. He maintained his rationality, breathing a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. He threw the 5 elements gate disciple away and said, "Get out of my sight, you're blocking my killing." Li Qingyuan, disguised as wood spirit, kept pursuing those who had seized resources from his spatial ring. Everywhere he went, he slaughtered without restraint, stirring up a storm of blood. Demonic Heart-Eye. .ins, Li Qingyuan worried that everyone's killing intent wasn't strong enough. So he kept darting and weaving through the various factions, secretly activating his demonic heart-eye to awaken the murderous desire and greed within them. During this time, he also managed to seize a top-grade spirit stone for himself. The battle escalated continuously. No one could contain it any longer. Not even the little 5 elements king or Wang Fugi could stop it now. With Li Qingyuan and True Nature, these 2 troublemakers stirring the pot, the already chaotic conflict had become utterly uncontrollable. It was like mortal soldiers on a battlefield. Amid the thunder of artillery, their ears could hear nothing clearly. Everyone in sight was an enemy. Their eyes were bloodshot. There was nothing left but endless slaughter. Inside the Xuanpin space, Zhao Guangjing muttered to himself, "That boy, True Nature, nearly spawned a demonic heart. Ah, what an unlucky child." He looked at his master, Li Qingyuan, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Among all the golden core cultivators, he seems the most insane, the most out of control. But in truth, he's the most rational, the most clear-headed. Only him. Even a treasure like the Earth Infant Fruit Tree, a nascent soul-nurturing treasure, he was willing to sacrifice to ignite this great battle. Zhao Guangjing looked around and sighed. Too brutal. This master of mine isn't just a devil cultivator, he's the sneakiest of devil cultivators. To be born in the same era as him is one thing, but to actually encounter him? These golden core prodigies are truly pitiful. More than 200 golden core prodigies and elite disciples from various sects had already fought to the death. 67 had fallen. Dozens were severely wounded. If this trend continued, before long, they would all be dead. The slaughter lasted 3 full days. 3 days later, the cultivators of the various factions were exhausted. The top-grade spirit stones had been divided and claimed. Gradually, everyone came to their senses. Then, one by one, their faces filled with horror. Junior brother? Where is my junior brother? Senior sister? Senior sister, what's wrong with you? Senior brother, wake up. How could this be? Someone looked at the top of the Forbidden Mountain, staring blankly at the 200 corpses. His voice was filled with disbelief. How could this be? How had they fought so confusedly to such a state? Chapter 4:10. Infiltration, backstab, reversal, splendid, simply splendid. In this expedition into the Void Refinement Grotto, heaven, over 4,000 golden core prodigies entered, and these 200 and several dozen, the elite among elites, the prodigies among prodigies, had passed through rigorous selection, crossed the 5 fiends' secret realm, and survived countless brushes with death to reach this place. Their cultivation, spirit roots, opportunities, comprehension, and luck were all the finest among golden core prodigies. Logically speaking, even if top-grade spirit stones, earth infant fruits, 4th-grade ores, and 4th-grade spirit plants were tempting enough to provoke conflict among them, once the fighting reached a certain point and a certain price had been paid, rationality should have returned. Once rationality returned, They would surely have chosen more civilized methods to compete for resources, rather than slaughtering all the way to the end, as if possessed by demons, their eyes bloodshot from killing. At this moment, among those contending for the ancient precious blood, the Little Five Elements, King's faction and Wang Fugi's faction had temporarily joined forces, defeating all other competitors. Between the two of them floated a single drop of ancient precious blood. It shimmered with divine light, red as a pearl. The two factions faced off, with the Little Five Elements King and Wang Fugi at their heads. The major powers around them had been suppressed and driven back. The chaotic melee had left heavy casualties on all sides. The Little Five Elements, King and Wang Fugui, looked around, both frowning slightly. "I feel," the Little Five Elements. King furrowed his brow. Behind him, Li Qingyuan, in his guise as Wood Spirit, spoke in a low voice. "Young lord, I feel something is off. Everyone who could reach this place is a prodigy among prodigies with extraordinary minds. But in today's battle, they all seemed possessed, as if manipulated by an invisible hand." The Little Five Elements. King nodded. "I feel it too." Then he looked at Wang Fugi and said, "Fellow Taoist Wang, surely you've also sensed the strangeness of this forbidden mountain. If we continue to contend, the final result will only be mutual destruction." He spoke with the air of one who had seen much. "Why not let me have this drop of ancient precious blood? Consider it a favor owed to you." Wang Fugi laughed lightly. "The Little Five Elements King jokes. Why not let me have it instead? I'll owe you 10 favors. "You, the Little Five Elements?" King's brows rose in anger. Li Qingyuan bent low and whispered, "He's mocking you, young lord." "The Little Five Elements." King's frown deepened. Li Qingyuan added, "Young lord, think carefully. Since entering the secret realm, Wang Fugi has appeared almost everywhere you've gone. Every time he appears, he either blocks your attacks or prevents you from seizing resources, greatly curbing the Five Elements Gate's dominance." The Little Five Elements. King thought back. Understanding dawned. It was true. Li Qingyuan continued, "Young lord, don't forget. The Wang family has been the wealthiest clan in the 9 provinces for generations. They have always been the lapdogs of successive human kings. Only by clinging to the human king can they hold their position as the wealthiest family, gather the world's fortune, activate their ancient god of wealth bloodline, and climb to the heights of cultivation." Hearing this, anger flared across the Little Five Elements King's handsome features. His sharp eyes locked onto Wang Fugui. "Now I finally understand. Wang Fugi, you are the hidden piece chosen by the human king, specifically sent to oppose me, am I right? That's why, wherever I go, you stick to me like a plaster, obstructing me at every turn." Wang Fugi laughed again. "So what if you figured it out? I have already accomplished what His Majesty commanded. In the matter of restraining the Little Five Elements King, Wang Fugi had indeed done well. As long as he continued to hold him back, preventing him from obtaining the ancient precious blood and the final inheritance of the immortal estate, his mission would be successfully completed. Now, at the final step, Wang Fugi was still confident he could finish the task. Seeing Wang Fugi's smug expression, the Little Five Elements King flew into a rage. "Excellent! So you never had good intentions from the start. Where are the disciples of the Five Elements Gate? Gold Spirit, True Nature, Li Qingyuan, the one-armed late Golden Core female cultivator, Aru, 7 late Golden Core disciples of the Five Elements Gate, and 20 mid-Golden Core disciples all responded in unison. "We are here, the Little Five Elements." King held the Five Elements Mountain in one hand and the Divine Soul, Bell, above his head. His peak Golden Core aura exploded forth as he roared, "Kill, annihilate the Wang family. I cannot tolerate those who deceive me." Li Qingyuan's voice was the loudest. "As you command, kill!" A loud boom echoed. The Little Five Elements. King hurled the Five Elements Mountain. This imitation of the true Five Elements Mountain was a quasi-4th-grade artifact. It transformed into a 100-meter mountain peak that crashed down, causing the void to thunder. God of Wealth's gold ingot. Wang Fugi immediately summoned his life-bound magic treasure. As a peak Golden Core cultivator who had awakened the ancient God of Wealth bloodline, his life-bound treasure was no weaker than the imitation Five Elements Mountain. Boom! High in the sky, the 100-meter mountain and the 100-meter gold ingot collided. Ripples spread through the air as if nascent soul, true lords were doing battle. Terrifying energy formed tornadoes that swept in all directions. Kill the little five elements. King struck with fury. He activated the Divine Soul Bell's first layer, Heaven and Earth Resonance. Wang Fugui also unleashed his magic treasure. Money penetrates the gods, ghosts push the millstone. He summoned phantom ghostly officials to counter the tidal wave of sonic energy formed by the bell's resonance. The two fought with real fire, locked in fierce combat. Meanwhile, the three great experts of the five elements Gate, Gold Spirit, Water Spirit, True Nature, and Wood Spirit, Li Qingyuan, led their forces in a charge. They drove back the Wang family and its affiliated forces. Fellow Taoist Wang, the Yi family will aid you. The Zhang family and the Qi family are also prestigious clans of the Divine Continent. How can we sit idly by while the Five Elements Gate of Yellow Province bullies the disciples of the Divine Continent? True Water spoke up. Amitabha, this humble monk is willing to assist the little Five Elements King. Zhang Tianzi and Zhang Tianyu charged forward. Little bald donkey, how dare you compete with this Taoist for the immortal maiden? For the spirit plants. Take this. The various factions once again descended into chaos. Of course, there were also those like Zhengyang Gate, Baiyun Gate, Heavenly Sword Gate, and Heavenly Saber Gate who chose to watch from the sidelines, waiting to reap the benefits. At this moment, the little Five Elements King unleashed his ultimate technique. Divine Soul, return to one. A loud clang echoed. The Divine Soul Bell resonated, shaking the four directions. Its sound was like thunder, deafening and jarring. A divine soul returned to the little Five Elements King's body. His aura surged again, approaching the nascent soul realm. He summoned both the Divine Soul Bell and the Five Elements Mountains simultaneously, unleashing his strongest killing strike. Three booms echoed. The air trembled. Explosions rang out without ceasing. Wang Fugui was sent flying back, hundreds of Zhang spitting blood. His life-bound magic treasure trembled and hummed. His expression shifted. He muttered helplessly, I knew this task wouldn't be easy. The next second, a drop of essence blood flew from Wang Fugui's brow. The blood burned, ancient runes flickering around it. The fortune and wealth energy gathered around him and converged. Deep within his bloodline, a power began to awaken. Don't think you can awaken the God of Wealth bloodline. The little Five Elements King descended from the sky, attacking. Big brother, I'll help you. Wang Shaoer, the second prodigy of the Wang family, seemingly ordinary and honest, flew forward, sacrificing himself to block the little Five Elements King for Wang Fugui. Get out of my way. The little Five Elements King struck out, severely wounding the late golden core Wang Shaoer. Wang Shaoer flew backward, hurtling toward his elder brother, Wang Fugui. Shou Kai! Wang Fugui called out in concern, then roared in fury. Little Five Elements King, don't harm my second brother. Wang Fugui reached out to catch his younger brother, Wang Shoukai, who was flying through the air. A blade pierced through flesh and into a human body with a soft, wet sound. You! Wang Fugui froze. The half-activated God of Wealth bloodline dispersed. The powerful energy could not coalesce. A sword had pierced straight through his heart. In his fury and terror, Wang Fugui still retained enough rationality. He unleashed his golden core power, striking out with a palm to send Wang Shoukai flying. He roared, Have you lost your mind? Are you betraying the family? Betraying His Majesty the Human King? This sudden turn of events stunned everyone present, except for the little Five Elements King and Wang Shoukai. Wang Shoukai flew to the little Five Elements King's side. His honest, simple face twisted into a ferocious grin. Wang Fugui, I haven't lost my mind. My father and I have long been secretly serving the Five Elements King. We've always communicated through secret channels. Even the Human King couldn't possibly detect it. 100 years of scheming and accumulation, and today it bears fruit in a single stroke. The little Five Elements King laughed. Wang Fugui, did you really think I would let anger drive me and my men into a life or death battle with you? Wrong. You underestimate me too much. My father once said, do not give in to anger. Anger only dulls your wisdom, makes you fall into your enemy's trap, and lets them control the rhythm. Ye Xuan, Zhang Xuanshu, and Zhang Tianzi flew over to protect Wang Fugui. They asked with concern, Fellow Taoist Wang, are you all right? Cough, cough. Wang Fugui coughed up blood. His heart had been severely wounded. He was not a nascent soul cultivator. A heavy blow to the heart required a targeted treatment using a fourth-grade spirit plant to heal properly. He no longer had the strength to fight. The little 5 elements. King said, "Wang Shukai, you have done well. I will keep my promise. I will refine Wang Fugui's bloodline and implant the God of Wealth bloodline into your body." Wang Shukai bowed respectfully. "Thank you, young lord." The little 5 elements. King held the 5 elements mountain in one hand and the divine soul bell in the other. With his 3 quasi-nascent soul cultivation bases, he was terrifyingly powerful. He looked at Ye Xuan, Zhang Xuanshu, and Zhang Tianxi and sneered, "Wang Fugui can no longer fight. Who can stop me now?" The next moment, Li Qingyuan and True Nature exchanged a glance. They nodded in silent understanding and both thought, "Now!" True Nature struck at Gold Spirit. Li Qingyuan struck at the little 5 elements king. A sudden change had occurred. Dear fellow Taoists, tomorrow is the Dragon Boat Festival. Today I have added an extra chapter. I wish everyone a happy Dragon Boat Festival. Please send some gifts. Mwah! Chapter 411, Sudden Assault, Destroying the Little 5 Elements. King's Divine Soul. A sudden change interrupted Li Qingyuan and Zheng Xing's attacks, startling everyone present. The entire grotto heaven, the 5 fiends' secret realm, underwent a dramatic transformation. A spatial repulsive force enveloped everyone, instantly expelling them from the summit of the Forbidden Mountain. The dozens of surviving prodigies were all pushed out in an instant, dizzy and disoriented. As they gradually recovered their senses, they witnessed the 5 fiends' secret realm beginning to shrink, contracting again and again until the 5 secret realm heavens directly transformed into 5 lotus petals. The 5 petals bloomed. One burned with yin fire, one swirled with corrupting wind, one crackled with heavenly thunder, one manifested as a karmic illusion realm, and one bristled with countless restrictions. The 5 petals interwove and spun together, forming a single lotus that became the only color between heaven and earth. What kind of magic treasure is this? Li Qingyuan found it hard to believe, drawing a sharp breath. The entire 5 fiends' secret realm was actually formed from a single lotus. Everyone stared blankly at the 5-colored lotus, their expressions dazed, their gazes burning with desire. "This object belongs to this young master," the little 5 elements king declared, leaping into the air. He executed the 5 elements heaven. Transcending technique, soaring 10,000 jung through the sky, reaching out to grasp the 5-colored lotus. The next moment, fierce yin fire blazed, raging corrupting wind invaded, heavenly thunder rolled and crashed, illusions attacked his mind, and killing formations of restrictions descended upon him, all at once sending the little 5 elements king flying backward. The little 5 elements king flew back 100 jang, spitting blood, with his divine soul unified and numerous protective treasures at his disposal. The little 5 elements king, who could kill early-stage nascent soul cultivators in their declining years, was instantly wounded by the 5-colored lotus. Deep wariness filled his eyes. He dared not act rashly and immediately consumed a 3rd-grade superior pill to recover from his injuries. "This object is definitely not something nascent soul cultivators can touch," the little 5 elements king said. "It must be a treasure no weaker than the Heaven Ascent Tower or the 5 Elements Mountain, and likely even stronger. Once this secret realm collapses and the spatial restrictions disperse, the only ones who can contend for this treasure will be my father, the 5 Elements King, and the Human King." "Look, what's that? There's someone there," Yu Xiao of the Biyun Gate exclaimed. "Above the 10,000 Zhang Divine Mountain, a heavenly river is suspended. There seems to be a person inside it." Everyone turned to look. Boom! Above the 10,000 Zhang mountain range, a grand formation activated, gathering the world's spiritual energy to form a long river. The spiritual energy was incredibly dense, and the profound principles of the formation swirled within. Heaven and earth hummed, space trembled, and the 10,000 Zhang river began to shrink, compressing to its utmost limit, until it transformed into a formation imprint that finally drilled into the forehead of a woman. The woman floated in midair, the inheritance mark on her brow radiating light. She was receiving the inheritance of formation principles. Because the inheritance was so vast and her cultivation was too weak, digesting it would take time. She appeared to be around 20 years old, with a temperament that was spiritually refined and brilliantly intelligent, like a spirit of the Luo River. Clad in white robes that set her apart from the world, her eyes sparkled like stars. Her oval face bore exquisitely perfect features, not a single flaw to be found. When they sensed her cultivation aura, everyone was stunned. The little Five Elements King said in surprise, "A Foundation Establishment cultivator. How could a Foundation Establishment cultivator have come here?" Yu Zhao asked in astonishment. How could someone at mere mid-stage Foundation Establishment have passed through the Five Fiends' secret realm? Unless, her sister Yu Xiao continued, unless she entered this place through some other means. Ye Xuan and the others exchanged glances. This woman carries a great secret? What inheritance is she digesting? A heavenly river transforming into an inheritance imprint, located in the deepest part of this immortal estate. It must be extraordinary. Could it be the final inheritance left by the master of this immortal estate? Everyone was surprised and shocked, but none were more surprised or shocked than Li Qingyuan. A storm raged in Li Qingyuan's heart. Xianer, it's Xianer. Xianer went missing because she came here. How did she get in? Not good. Li Qingyuan's expression changed. How she got here no longer matters. What matters is how she can retreat safely. The little Five Elements King looked ahead, stroking his chin. This woman is quite beautiful and carries great fortune. Jin Ling, quickly capture her. I want both the fortune she carries and the inheritance she's receiving. After you catch her, raise her to the core formation stage and make her my cauldron. Hearing this, Li Qingyuan could barely contain his killing intent. A cold gleam flashed in his eyes. Little Five Elements King, you have already earned death. Li Qingyuan glanced at Zhengxing, then silently moved closer to the little Five Elements King. Zhengxing also flew out at the same time, saying, "Senior brother Jin Ling, your junior brother has come to assist you." Good. Jin Lingzi felt warmth in his heart. His little junior brother had finally come to understand him and was willing to help on his own initiative. What do we do, master? I can't move right now. Li Shanhuang had just broken through to mid-stage Foundation Establishment and finished comprehending the final formation rune when heaven and earth changed dramatically. The formation river transformed into a formation inheritance imprint that drilled into the Niwan Palace in her brow. This formation intent was too vast, too boundless. Even though it was automatically pouring into her sea of consciousness through spiritual infusion, it would still take considerable time. I didn't expect this, the undying bird said, its tone also changing. This inheritance is too ancient, too enormous. It's a great immortal fortune, but right now it's a great trouble. Until the inheritance spiritual infusion is complete, even I have no way to take you away. Li Shanhuang transmitted her thoughts. Then what should I do? The undying bird replied, don't worry. Even I cannot move you, let alone some core formation cultivators. Jin Lingzi and Zhengxing flew forward, followed by cultivators from various factions who also wanted to capture Li Shanhuang alive, seize her fortune, and interrogate her about how she had come here. Jin Lingzi was the fastest. He reached out with a massive hand. This woman belongs to my lord. There was a bang. The platinum white giant hand descended. But when it approached within 100 jang of Li Shanhuang and the formation imprint, it was sent flying backward, its wielder's qi and blood churning. One after another, the prodigies from various factions were also sent flying. They could only barely approach within 100 jang of Li Shanhuang and the formation imprint. Everyone's expression changed, Yu Zhao speculated. It seems that if we want to contend for this woman, we'll have to wait until she fully absorbs the inheritance. The various factions' auras clashed as they warily watched each other, their gazes fixed on Li Shanhuang and the formation imprint, ready to strike at any moment. On the other side, the ancient precious blood floated in the air, locked onto by the little Five Elements King's aura. He summoned his divine soul bell, and the ancient bell descended, attacking Wang Fugi, Ye Xuan, Zhang Xuanshu, and Zhang Tianzi. Wang Fugi, you're already severely wounded. Among the prodigies of the various provinces, who can stop me? Whoosh! Suddenly, a cold light pierced through the air, flying in an instant to strike the little Five Elements King. It hit his quasi-4th-grade armor directly. A foot-long flying needle pierced through the armor, penetrated the little Five Elements King's chest, tore through his heart, and burst out the other side. Ah! The little Five Elements King froze in midair, blood gushing from his mouth. He turned to look at Mu Lingzi, his face twisted with rage. You're not Mu Lingzi. Who are you? The nascent soul ancient treasure, the profound yin needle, had struck true, piercing the little five elements. King's heart and severely wounding him. His injuries were even worse than Wang Frugi's. He was now powerless to cast spells. The divine soul bell he had just sent out lost its power, unable to maintain itself, and fell to the ground. The little five elements. King spat blood, splattering 3 feet away. His heart felt as if 10,000 needles were piercing it at every moment. His face twisted in agony. It hurts so much. What kind of magic treasure is this? So sinister? Die! Li Qingyuan wasted no words. He swung his great halberd, unleashing both his late-stage core formation magical power and physical body simultaneously. The 6 parts of the halberd merged into one, forming a 4th-grade, low-grade magical weapon. The halberd swung with immense weight, unstoppable and indestructible. Master! The late-stage core formation maidservant, A Ru, flew over, driving her life-bound magic treasure to block in front of the little five elements king. With a clang, her life-bound treasure was sent flying. The halberd's light tore through the air and struck her delicate body, a cruel hand destroying a flower, a single blow killing the late-stage core formation maidservant, reducing her to a mist of blood. After killing Aru, Li Qingyuan used the star-shifting technique to flash to the location of the ancient precious blood. He grabbed it and immediately stored it away. Thus, of the 3 supreme treasures at the summit of the Forbidden Mountain, aside from the 20 pieces of top-grade spirit stones, Li Qingyuan had now obtained 2. The little five elements. King flew into a rage. I hate nothing more in this life than those who deceive me. I will kill you. Divine soul, return to unity, merge and substitute life. A clang echoed. The divine soul bell returned. The divine soul avatar completely merged into his own life soul, flesh and blood, taking the fatal wound in his place. His heart healed as if new, and the 10,000 needle qi within his heart was also drawn out. With a loud bang, the divine soul avatar, having absorbed all the injuries, shattered the little five elements. King's injuries vanished completely. His divine sense and magical power instantly returned to their peak. His cultivation was at the peak stage of core formation, his aura dominating the sky. However, his handsome face was twisted with rage, his nose practically crooked. This divine soul avatar, I nurtured it for nearly 100 years to reach its current state. 100 years, a full century of hard work. Hatred. Such deep hatred. He had never been this angry, this humiliated, this consumed by rage in his entire life. He wished he could bite Li Qingyuan to pieces, drink his blood, and eat his flesh. The little five elements king was completely unhinged. He sacrificed his divine soul bell and charged forward, flames of fury shooting from his eyes. 100 years of nurturing destroyed in a single moment. I will never rest until you are dead. I will extract your bones and refine your soul. I will annihilate your blood relatives and clan members. Everyone connected to you, I will torture them to death, one by one. Little five elements. King, you should keep your threatening words to yourself. Li Qingyuan held his great halberd and spoke calmly. No matter what happens today, you cannot escape death. The 9 Suns spirit mushroom was in the little five elements, King's hands. Many of the prodigies from the 7 kingdoms of Huang province had died because of the little five elements king. Throughout their journey, Li Qingyuan had clashed with the five elements gate multiple times. He had even been hunted by the little five elements king so relentlessly that he could only rely on the flame dragon lizard to flee deep into the earth, hiding in the molten lava 10,000 jang below ground for over a month before daring to show his face. Most detestable of all, this man had tried to seize Shan'er's fortune and intended to raise her as a cauldron, nourishment for his path of immortality. With all these factors and conflicts intertwined, Li Qingyuan and the little five elements king could no longer coexist. Only one battle could decide the outcome and who would live or die. Kill. Li Qingyuan swung his great halberd. The little five elements king held his ancient bell aloft. They collided fiercely, the flames of rage in their hearts burning, their eyes filled with nothing but killing intent. Both wanted the other dead. Whoosh! As Li Qingyuan and the little five elements king clashed, and everyone else stood stunned, Zhengxing made his move. Zhengxing struck without warning. His nascent soul divine sense pressure enveloped Jin Lingzi. He executed the formless divine ability, the Supreme Void Soul, Prisoning Realm, directly severing the connection between Jin Lingzi's divine sense and his physical body. Immediately after, the water spirit shield spun out, striking Jin Lingzi. Jin Lingzi's divine sense was suddenly imprisoned. His expression changed instantly. Clarity Spirit Pearl. The Clarity Spirit Pearl on Shui Lingzi's body, which, as it happened, had been gifted by Jin Lingzi himself, was one of a pair. Each of them had one. With the assistance of the Clarity Spirit Pearl, Jin Lingzi finally broke free. A platinum white light erupted from within his body, forming a defensive barrier. Bang! The water spirit shield struck Jin Lingzi's chest. His chest caved in. He spat blood and flew backward, his chest bones shattering, his internal organs severely damaged, his aura weakening. Jin Lingzi immediately consumed a pill. His face was filled with hatred, fury, and concern. He roared, "Who are you people? Where is junior brother Shui Ling? What have you done to him?" Although Jin Lingzi had used dishonorable methods to obtain Shui Lingzi back then, his love for his junior brother Shui Ling was genuine. Seeing his worried gaze and furious questioning, Zhongxing's anger surged, his killing intent skyrocketing. "What business is it of yours? What happened to Shui Lingzi? Die!" Zhenxing struck with full force, no longer concealing his peak core formation cultivation. He attacked the severely wounded Jin Lingzi, deploying the water spirit shield and activating the water element talisman formation. Jin Lingzi was no match. He retreated while fighting, fleeing in a sorry state. "Don't run, Jin Lingzi, you damned villain!" Jingxing pursued him, beating Jin Lingzi until he coughed blood, constantly deflecting the golden jewel rings as he continued his assault. Both Li Qingyuan and Shui Lingzi had suddenly turned traitor. The little five elements, King and Jin Lingzi, had both suffered severe blows. The scene left everyone stunned, their minds buzzing. He's not Mu Lingzi, and he's not Shui Lingzi either. Then where are the real Mu Lingzi and Shui Lingzi, and who are they? Peak core formation. That was no ordinary core formation. Body and Qi dual cultivation at late-stage core formation was even more extraordinary than ordinary core formation prodigies. Huang Fugi, Ye Xuan, Zhang Xuanshu, and the others exchanged glances. The core formation prodigies from various factions all felt their minds struggling to keep up. Wang Fugi looked at Wang Shukai and gave the order. "Disciples of the Wang family, hear my command. Disciples of the Tongbao Pavilion, hear my command. Capture Wang Shukai alive. At your command." The Wang family disciples obeyed. The Tongbao Pavilion disciples obeyed. They all charged forward, heading straight for Wang Shukai. Wang Shukai screamed in terror, "Lord Young Master, save me, save me. My father has been in hiding for centuries. I've been in hiding for 100 years. All for the Five Elements Gate." But it was useless. The little five elements. King's eyes were fixed only on Li Qingyuan, the thorn in his side, and with Mu Lingzi and Shui Lingzi having betrayed them, with Jin Lingzi unable to save himself, the Five Elements Gate faction had lost its backbone and fallen into chaos. The prodigies led by True Water Monk of the Taiyi Gate were still being held in check by the Taoist Dragon Tiger Mountain faction. A series of metallic clangs rang out. The little Five Elements King drove the Divine Soul Bell. Li Qingyuan swung his persuasion halberd, each strike causing the Divine Soul Bell to ring and hum, erupting with thunderous bell tones. Wind and thunder power. Break. Li Qingyuan gripped his halberd and hurled it through the air, piercing the sky. The halberd tore through the air, wind and thunder power gathering around it, its might ascending to another level. It struck the Divine Soul Bell, producing a resonant, echoing tone, sending the Little Five Elements King flying 100 jang. The Little Five Elements. King's expression changed. "It's you? It's you." The first sentence expressed disbelief. The second was spoken through gritted teeth. The persuasion halberd, the wind and thunder power, the body and Qi dual cultivation, and the familiar feeling from their combat, all of it made him recognize Li Qingyuan. "That's right, it's still me." Li Qingyuan activated the formless divine ability, dispersing Mu Lingzi's appearance to reveal his own true form. A green-robed figure, handsome and spirited, with long hair draped over his shoulders, stood atop the clouds holding a great halberd, wind and thunder power swirling around him, and powerful magical energy radiating outward. In this moment, his presence dominated the surroundings, even suppressing the Little Five Elements King by 3 parts. Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao stared in shock. Brother Chu? Back at the Talisman Mountain Cliff, when Li Qingyuan had seized the 4th grade Thunder Talisman, he had been unable to maintain his aura, revealing his true appearance. Everyone had seen it then, including the sisters Yu Zhao and Yu Xiao, the little 5 elements. King ground his teeth. So it really was you. Time and again, incident after incident, what a disgusting fellow. Die for me. The little 5 elements. King's nascent soul, divine sense spread out. Countless talisman papers flew into the air, quickly forming 5 sets of water element. Talisman formations, each equivalent to the attack of an ordinary early-stage nascent soul cultivator. Even if they were only ordinary early-stage nascent soul attacks, 5 of them were enough to kill a late-stage core formation prodigy and match a perfected early-stage nascent soul expert. Li Qingyuan laughed lightly. When it comes to talisman papers, I, Li Qingyuan, have never feared anyone. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. He too used nascent soul divine sense, unleashing 5 sets of 3rd grade superior talisman formations. The 5 elements. Talisman formation emerged, merging the 5 elements into one. It erupted with intense spiritual light and a destructive aura, charging at the little 5 elements king. A series of booming sounds echoed. The two flew across the sky, sometimes clashing with 3rd grade magical weapons, sometimes colliding with ancient bells and halberds, sometimes engaging in talisman formation battles comparable to early-stage nascent soul attacks. Zhao! Ha! Attack! The little 5 elements. King slapped his spatial ring. A flood dragon and a tiger burst forth, radiating the aura of late 3rd stage great demons. This flood dragon and this fierce tiger were naturally of extraordinary bloodlines, able to speak human language. Human, you have offended our master. You will die. The flood dragon soared through the sky. The tiger charged. They flanked the little 5 elements king, aiding his attack, countering Li Qingyuan's various killing moves and gaining the upper hand. Comparing spirit pets, Li Qingyuan smiled contemptuously. I've never lost at that either. Ji-kun, gok, gok. The Xuanpin space opened. Ji-kun flew out through an invisible gate. He spread his wings and struck out with a colorful sphere. The sphere instantly erupted with formless power and devouring origin, shattering the flood dragon's killing move in one blow, sending the flood dragon flying 100 zhang, its dragon scales scattering. You dare to touch my boss? Brother Kun will destroy you first. Ji-kun hovered high in the air, his right wing like a hand, slapping his life-bound magic treasure, the heaven-devouring sphere, through the void. The sphere struck the air as if hitting solid ground, bouncing back up only to be slapped down again by his right wing, and then bouncing once more. Ji-kun raised his right wing vertically, his longest feather like a fingertip. On that fingertip, the heaven-devouring sphere spun rapidly before he hurled it at the tiger. The tiger unleashed a roaring sonic wave and swiped with its claws, but the heaven-devouring sphere shattered its paw bones. After taking a hit to its jaw, the tiger flew backward 100 zhang, crashing into the earth. The flood dragon and the white tiger climbed to their feet, spitting blood, staring at Ji-kun with wary eyes. The little 5 elements. King's expression changed. How does your chicken have its own life-bound magic treasure? It was a chicken, a demon beast, not a human cultivator. Li Qingyuan couldn't be bothered with idle talk. He gave the order, Ji-kun, they're yours. Ji-kun licked his beak, grinning as he spoke human language. Yes, boss. This flood dragon and white tiger seemed to be offspring of high-ranking demon beasts. They had reached the late 3rd stage themselves. Their essence souls and demon cores would surely be nourishing. The little 5 elements king roared, Are you all stupid? Hurry and help me kill this thief. Under the little 5 elements, King's furious command, the 5 elements gate's core formation prodigies snapped out of their stupor and moved to attack. Ye Xian chuckled. I love a good group fight. Tu Lingzi, I'll slowly beat you to death. Zhang Xuanshu flew out saying, Count me in, Zhang Xuanshu. No, disciples of the Zhang family, charge with me. They had been oppressed by the 5 elements gate earlier. Now that they have the opportunity, they naturally wanted to kick someone when they're down and give the little 5 elements king a proper lesson. The 5 elements gate prodigies were surrounded. With Jin Lingzi, Shui Lingzi, Mu Lingzi and the late-stage core formation maidservant all gone, they quickly found themselves at a disadvantage, with casualties beginning to mount. Seeing this, The little Five Elements king flew into a rage. Do you really think I have no way to deal with you? His sinister eyes fixed on Li Qingyuan. 5 elements, power radiated from within his body. 5 drops of essence blood emerged. Golden runes, fire runes, earth runes, wood runes, water runes. The 5 elements runes spread across his body surface, covering his handsome face. Boom! The little 5 elements king erupted with a powerful aura, tearing his clothes to reveal his muscular physique and tall, upright form. The 5 drops of essence blood burned, transforming into surging energy that spread outward. Today, I will show you the 10,000-year foundation of the 5 Elements Gate. 5 Elements, true, nascent art.